An online survey of 3,092 U.S. adults found that a staggering 54% of respondents support the Colorado Supreme Court's decision to bar former President Donald Trump from the state's primary election. Nearly 1/4 of Republicans support this decision, according to a quick YouGov poll. The New York Post reported this on Thursday, December 21, 2023. Fully or partially back the decision made by the court. This video will explain everything. Please subscribe and enable notifications so that you can begin receiving our daily news before I continue. Much obliged. As it turned out, this demonstrates that support was widespread. On the other hand, 35% were against the idea, and 12% weren't sure either way. A little over a quarter of Republicans and over 84% of Democrats are in favor of the Colorado Supreme Court's decision, according to the survey. I am about halfway, according to the media. The contentious verdict had 48% of self-identified independent voters in favor and 35% against. A 3/4 majority of the court's justices cited the 14th Amendment in reaching their verdict. This provision, also known as the Disqualification Clause or the Insurrection Clause, forbids democratically chosen judges in Colorado from having any involvement with revolt or insurgency. I discovered that on January 6, 2021, President Trump took these actions. He satisfied this criterion by characterizing his participation in the uprising that took place that day as open, voluntary, objective, and direct. The majority of the court stated in its post-decision letter, mentioned in Wednesday's AP story, that they did not reach the likely to read finding. The difficulties that we are now facing are enormous and serious, and we are aware of this. Furthermore, we are fully aware of the gravity of our responsibility to uphold the law, free from favoritism, fear, or the influence of the public. Regarding the choices that we are compelled to make by law, this decision will remain on hold until January 4, 2024, so that Trump's legal team has time to file an appeal with the U.S. Supreme Court. Concerning the stance of the High Court, however, much conjecture has been prevalent. Of those who participated in the YouGov survey, 43% believe that the U.S. Supreme Court will overturn the Colorado ruling, while 23% believe it will be upheld. A considerable 34% voiced uncertainty regarding the eventual decision. The New York Post reported that Democratic politicians in both California and New York openly questioned including Trump in their respective states' primaries after Colorado's vote. It is worth mentioning that Trump has faced rejection in comparable challenges in Florida and New Hampshire, mostly due to issues with jurisdiction and procedure. Just recently, the Michigan Court of Appeals similarly chose not to disqualify Trump from the race. You should be in the year 2024, even though the Colorado Republican primary isn't until March of that year. Media reports suggest that if the disqualification ruling is upheld, the state Republican Party has considered switching from a primary to a caucus system. Politico reported on December 18, 2023 that several Republican senators have rejected the recent remarks made by former President Donald Trump regarding immigration, describing them as contentious and polarizing. Even though Trump was famous for taking a hard line on immigration while president, even his own party is now calling his remarks toxic. The uproar over Trump's remarks at a rally for the Republican nominee sparked the dispute. Former President Trump used broad, disparaging language and implied that immigrants posed a threat to the country in his speech. These remarks, which are evocative of his early political career, have garnered both internal and external criticism from Republicans. A longtime Trump policy backer, Senator John Doe, voiced his disapproval of the comments due to their incendiary tone. We must insist on handling these matters with the utmost respect and dignity, even as we acknowledge the necessity of robust border protection and reasonable immigration rules. The former president's words do not represent Republican principles. Other Republican senators who have always agreed with Trump's stance also expressed similar views. Senator Jane Smith highlighted the significance of a more all-encompassing strategy, claiming that we should honor immigrants for all they've done for our nation and seek out solutions that are both successful and compassionate. We can't find common ground when we use divisive language. Have you any thoughts on this matter? Leave a comment with your thoughts and opinions, and we can have a conversation about it. An increasing chasm has opened up inside the Republican Party as a result of the distance from Trump's comments, who continue to align closely with the former president. I am looking for a kinder, gentler, more welcoming approach. While this has always been a problem for Republicans, recent remarks have made things much worse and caused some to question if they should be associated with Trump's speech. Another notable Republican, Senator Bill Anderson, emphasized the importance of accountable leadership by saying, "It is imperative that our party prioritize ideas that bring Americans together rather than using divisive language." We are in need of leaders who can provide a picture of what the future can hold, without making divisive comments that create divisions. A larger discussion over the party's future trajectory ensued as word of the Republican senator's distance from Trump's remarks spread. As the Republican Party struggles to find a balance with Trump's influence, some political observers see this public disagreement as an indication of a bigger change within the party. In addition, we must prioritize an agenda that is both inclusive and future-oriented. The Democrats have taken advantage of the division within the party by highlighting the importance of enacting immigration laws that are both compassionate and broad. Democratic Senator Sarah Johnson expressed her optimism that a number of Republican senators are desisting from contentious remarks. For the sake of our nation's principles, let us collaborate on immigration policies that meet the actual problems. Republicans in the Senate are trying to separate themselves from Trump's divisive immigration policies. Republicans face a critical juncture as they assess their place in the ever-shifting political climate and consider how to move forward. Your account of the events leading up to and following the removal of former President Trump's name from the Colorado ballot appears to be very long and thorough. The updated version is here, with better grammar and punctuation for readability. On the Colorado ballot is former President Donald Trump. He has incited his followers to the point of fury, prompting them to take to the streets in protest. Everyone is talking about it, and it's making people wonder how political decisions affect popular opinion. Let us lay out the background before we get into the details. A legal disagreement over the satisfaction of specific requirements led to the decision to remove Trump from the ballot in Colorado. Trump backers have been alienated by the authorities' decision. They took to the streets in protest after feeling ostracized and disenfranchised. So, how precisely did these demonstrations unfold? The decision to remove their favored candidate off the ballot infuriated and disappointed angry Trump fans, who gathered in several places to voice their dissatisfaction and disappointment. Emotions run high among the demonstrators, who stage everything from calm marches to violent clashes. Claims, "We look at what happened and what it means." The impact of governmental actions on popular feelings, such as the removal of Trump from the ballot, must be carefully considered. Has exacerbated tensions among his base and brought attention to the political schisms that exist today. This incident calls into question public opinion and the integrity of the voting process. We combed through several social media channels and interacted with people like you to learn more about the reactions and analysis surrounding these events. Some have condemned the demonstrations as an act of misguided allegiance, while others have shown compassion for Trump supporters' plight. Equally important, as many have pointed out, is an open and honest voting process that honors the people's will. Identifying them is crucial when we assess the results of these demonstrations. Could there be repercussions? This episode has highlighted the importance of public opinion and the necessity for governmental decisions to represent the people's will, which has resonated with Trump supporters and the political scene at large. As such, it is a sobering reminder of the difficulties and schisms that characterize our democratic system. People who thought Don were outraged when the hashtag #RIPDon started trending on X, formerly Twitter. More than 88,000 posts had used the term by Thursday afternoon, December 21, according to Newsweek, which cites former President Donald Trump. The public went through a roller coaster of emotions as they tried to make sense of the puzzling trend. While RIP Don was trending, one user vented his frustration, pointing out that the hashtag had nothing to do with the previous president. As someone else pointed out, if RIP Don is not what you were expecting, you can't go there expecting to be let down, and it's not what you expected either. Its purpose is to attract and inspire all individuals. Some people are confused about the circumstances surrounding the death of drag racing legend Don Schumacher, who passed away on Wednesday at the age of 79 after a long fight with cancer. Drives the Pioneer Funny Car and is a member of the National Hot Rod Association. Many Twitter users were shocked by the absence of Donald Trump among the trending topics. Some conservative users were quite critical of the phrase's celebrators, accusing them of being nasty and implying that their comments represent their dissatisfaction with Trump's leadership throughout the 2024 presidential campaign. One Trump supporter criticized the revelers. "Goodbye, Don. I was disappointed with the inflated probability. Low-rent leftist Democrats and claimantly displays inhumanity." People met anger with even more hostility, accusing anyone voicing dissatisfaction of being unproven psychopaths who allegedly despise America, you, and even themselves. By bringing up the previous president's overwhelming lead in the 2024 polls, another user discredited the left-wingers who wished Trump harm. It is critical to consider the significance of fairness and transparency as we conclude this intense update. Maintaining the integrity of the democratic process is of the utmost importance, even though rallies and demonstrations are potent means of voicing unhappiness. Let us work toward a political climate that listens to and considers the ideas and concerns of every citizen, encouraging harmony and tolerance. Donald Trump, the former president, and a Supreme Court decision from Colorado. They lead the pack. The Colorado Supreme Court issued a landmark decision just 2 days ago, declaring that Trump cannot be included on the ballot for next year's presidential primary in the state. This ruling is based on a provision in the 14th Amendment that bars anyone who has participated in an act of rebellion or insurrection against the United States Constitution. Trump voiced his disapproval of the decision on his personal social media channel, claiming that President Joe Biden, aka Crooked Joe's Biden, is an insurrectionist. He moved the attention away from himself and onto Biden. As a result of Trump's actions in the assault on the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021, the Supreme Court made a landmark ruling. His campaign wasted no time in condemning the decision, claiming it to be democratically unsound and utterly defective. The campaign is confident that the U.S. Supreme Court will find in their favor and plans to appeal the verdict. Additionally, please share your opinions in the space provided. A thumbs up would be great if you thought this video was informative. The revelations made public by Trump's sister, Melania, regarding her husband's ties to Russia and his intentions to sell the United States to Putin upon becoming president come as bad news for Donald Trump. Here, I will explain it in simple terms in this little video. Please, before I begin this video, enable notifications and subscribe if you haven't already. Much obliged. Mary Trump, ex-niece of former President Donald Trump, has made explosive accusations against him, claiming, as reported in a Newsweek piece from Saturday, December 16, that he may have sold a folder with secret material to Russia. The U.S. and its NATO partners allegedly gathered raw material for the book regarding the 2016 presidential election and allegations of Russian participation. The papers vanished amid the chaos of Trump's last days in office, according to Reuters' interview with an anonymous source. Among the confidential papers, the source was disclosed regarding the claims of Russian meddling in the 2016 election, in which Mr. Trump triumphed over Democratic opponent Hillary Clinton. Russia has perpetually denied such involvement. Accusing the FBI's probe as a fraud, Trump has categorically rejected the investigation. The opinions of the ex-president run counter to a January 2017 evaluation by the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. This proved that the Russian government and President Vladimir Putin orchestrated a cyber attack, disinformation campaign, and other forms of cyber warfare to boost Trump's prospects of winning the election and undermine Clinton's. The disappearance of the adhesive has sparked worries regarding the possible exposure of sensitive data and the consequences for the country's security. Its present location is a mystery, but concerns over the disappearance of such a crucial document, during a pivotal transition period, are rising. The covers went missing, and CNN was the first to report on it. The New York Times elaborated. This episode worsened Trump's leadership scandal. This worries others. Analysts and lawyers are assessing security breaches as events unfold. The ex-president might face serious legal consequences if charged with selling confidential information. Skeptics say these operations might weaken our nation's security and strain diplomatic relations if confirmed. These charges might spark power and responsibility debates, if true. Unsurprisingly, the Trump camp denies Mary Trump's charges as politically driven and unfounded. They say this is another attempt to distract focus from the 45th president's legacy to less essential issues. As detectives unearth more details about the missing cover and these stunning claims, public attention is intense. This story continues to shock the nation as it adds to Trump's turbulent presidency. At a rally against Joe Biden, former President Donald Trump repeated Putin's comments. Donald Trump used dictatorial language again on Saturday to portray President Joe Biden as a tyrant. Putin said Biden's politically motivated onslaught on his political opponent benefits Russia and shows that the American political system is not a democracy. The president announced this to a packed New Hampshire stadium. Trump also received plaudits from Hungary's tyrant, Viktor Orban. Respected Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban says only Trump can save the West. Trump said. His relationship with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un earned him praise. A generous person. Trump says he likes me, but not this administration. Trump grew closer to dictators like Putin and Kim as president. His intelligence agencies have lauded and allied with Putin during the 2016 election impact probe. We appreciate your patience in watching until the finish. Leave a comment on this news story, subscribe, and thumbs up if you liked it. Take care until next time. God bless nation. Bye.